Much less shouting about imaginary dancers. Here, I'll get your robes. Man, and take one of these. You're clearly in a state of extreme agitation and potential delirium. He picked up Bumble's ever-present antacid bottle, which Bumble had accidentally knocked over. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Bumble protested, flailing wildly, trying to evade Jawbreaker's attempts to force him back to bed, dodging like a drunken matador. Captain, I'd like an explanation from you, McGinty, and it better be good. An exceptionally convincing alibi. I would shoot and we would keep off. Jawbreaker, get off me, sir, and get those girls out of the air raid shelter fast. He whispered fiercely to Finn, trying to regain control of his faculties and his plan, his voice hoarse with a mixture of terror and desperation. Just then, Lieutenant Nurse Amelia Wilson, looking perfectly professional and utterly fed up with the entire charade, emerged from the infirmary closet where she had been forced to take refuge from Bumble's initial panic. She held a spare, crisply ironed uniform, perhaps for Bumble himself, and a look of profound exasperation on her face. "Hey, Admiral," she said, her voice weary but firm. "You forgot your orders, sir." She held out a set of Bumble's embroidered epaulets, now detached from his frenzied grappling, which he had picked up from the floor. Yeah, Mr. Plimpton, get the ladies back in their designated quarters immediately, and then return those items to the nurses." Jawbreaker, turning back, snapped. His patience stretched thinner than an overworked sailor's nerves. "Well, Captain, I'm waiting for the explanation, Bumbleton. A plausible, verifiable explanation, if you please." Bumble, seeing his opportunity, pointed an accusing, trembling finger at Finn. "Yes, sir, but you see, Admiral, they where he did it. He is the culprit. Yeah, he's a terrible person. Admiral, a reprobate, a libertine. He's always sneaking women around and shoving them in places, especially hula girls. The shame of it all. Oh, the hula girls." Finn, maintaining his innocent demeanor with a remarkable poker face, retorted, "Me, sir? But, sir, you know I'm a paragon of rectitude. Sir, a man of unblemished character." "All right, stop it, both of you," Jawbreaker roared, his voice cutting to the bickering like a torpedo through butter. His patience had finally snapped. "Is this a naval base or a madhouse? I'm starting to suspect the latter. I don't know what's going on around here, but I'll get to the bottom of it after my inspection. Commander McGinty, shall we proceed? Where is this notorious air raid shelter where these hula girls are supposedly located?" Finn, caught completely off guard by the unexpected twist, the direct confrontation he had so desperately sought to avoid, tried to recover, his mind racing. "Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Immediately, sir. Would you like to start with the base laundry? Sir, a paragon of military cleanliness. I assure you, not a single sock out of place. A testament to efficiency. You could eat off the floor, sir." "No, not the laundry," Bumble shrieked, fighting against Lieutenant Kreider, who was attempting to escort him back to bed, his pajama-clad body flailing like a beached walrus. "The air raid shelter. Please, the air raid shelter. They're girls, I tell you, I guess. Those little things, small and jiggly and in skirts. But you'll be late, McGinty. That nonsense. Don't you dare try to thwart the Admiral's divine right to inspect. I'll decide where to start this inspection, McGinty, not you, you disingenuous devil." Jawbreaker, however, merely shot Bumble a weary, exasperated look. "Now back to bed, sir, at once. Captain Bumbleton, your presence is a hindrance to proper military procedure, and to my rapidly fading patience. And that is an order, a direct, unequivocal order, sir." Bumble, utterly vanquished, a crumpled, defeated figure, was shoved back onto the cot by Kreider. Jawbreaker then turned to Finn, his expression now one of grim resolve. "Let's go look in the air raid shelter. Commander, lead the way, And let's see if your story holds any more water than the Commodore's fevered imaginings. Yes, sir, Finn replied, attempting to maintain an air of professional composure, even as his internal panic klaxons blared a full, ear-splitting, deafening alert. His heart hammered in his chest like a frantic drummer. He knew what he had to do: race ahead, somehow, magically, impossibly, evacuate a dozen sweaty, half-naked sailors before the Iron Jaw arrived. As they neared the shelter, a heavy, squat concrete bunker half hidden by overgrown tropical vines, Finn, with a sudden, desperate burst of inspiration, leaned into Jawbreaker. "Sure, Admiral, did you hear that? I believe that they're getting away. Yes, in the bushes. Admiral, the Nip infiltrators. They must have been hiding in the bushes, sir. We must pursue them. Admiral, immediately. This way." He made a show of scrambling through a thicket of overgrown foliage near the shelter, hoping to divert Jawbreaker. Jawbreaker, however, was not so easily swayed by amateur dramatics. His eyes, fixed on the shelter entrance, barely registered Finn's flailing. He ignored Finn's flailing, marching purposefully towards the heavy metal door. Just as he reached for the rusted handle, a truly astonishing sight greeted them. The heavy metal door burst open with a loud clang, and a dozen sarong-clad hula girls, the sailors from Finn's crew, including Rocky Ridgeback and Specs Miller, along with a few other hefty individuals, looking surprisingly pale and flustered, their improvised costumes askew, burst from the shelter, scattering in every direction like startled exotic birds whose feathers had just been set on fire. They were still attempting to adjust their makeshift outfits, clearly struggling with the sheer awkwardness and impropriety of their escape. The air filled with muffled shouts and the slapping of bare feet on the dirt path. Finn gaped, his elaborate plan utterly, irrevocably foiled, his jaw hanging open in sheer disbelief. "They're cooked. We're all cooked." Suddenly, a disheveled Commodore Bumble, having somehow eluded Lieutenant Kreider and Myrtle, burst from the same thicket Finn had just scrambled through, still in his infirmary robe, now mud-splashed and askew, and clearly in a fresh paroxysm of fury. His face, smeared with dirt, resembled a particularly angry clown. "Well, afternoon, Captain," he yelled at one of the fleeing hula girls, mistaking them for actual officers. "Going somewhere, sir? Running from your duties? I'll get to the Admiral about this gross insubordination. Running away from an inspection." Just then, Lieutenant Kreider caught up to Bumble, his own uniform rumpled from chasing the Commodore. "Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, I am Commodore. An urgent medical matter has just come up concerning your disposition. Your rather unstable mental state, sir." "Well, I'm very, very sorry, Commodore, but as your physician," Kreider declared, having taken a moment to grab a stethoscope from the infirmary and drape it theatrically around his neck, "I'm ordering you back to bed. Immediately, sir, before you hurt yourself or others." "Now, wait a minute, Doctor, wait a minute," Bumble roared, shaking off Kreider's gentle grasp. "I'm as healthy as you are." "Kreider, healthier? I made this whole thing up. The fever, the delirium, it was all an elaborate charade, a cunning ruse to trap that scoundrel McGinty." Kreider, maintaining a perfectly straight face, produced a clipboard from his coat. "Yes, on the contrary. Commodore, your latest tests show that you're suffering from high blood pressure, acute indigestion, hypertension, and a newly diagnosed condition I'm calling hula girl hallucination syndrome. Not to mention acute combat delusion, sir. Your vitals are off the charts." "Oh, hypertension, you quack. You medical fraud." Bumble snarled, trying to swat the clipboard away. "Nurse, get me my uniform. Lieutenant Nurse Wilson." Bumble yelled, spinning around, spotting the bewildered nurse in the background. "Nurse, take his clothes and lock them up. This charlatan is trying to undermine my authority." Nurse Wilson